Hey everybody, it is Karen Coffey, and I am the founder of a company called Making Agents Wealthy. And today I want to talk about moving forward after this COVID as states reopen. The important thing to remember here is that business is still happening and we are moving forward. I don't know about you, but I am sick and quite tired of talking about COVID. It's not that it's not real. It's not that it isn't happening. But you know what? Real estate is still happening too. And you can be one of two types of agents. So I want to ask you, what type of agent have you been during the COVID-19 pandemic? Were you the type of agent that you leaned in, you got busy, you put your systems in place, you actually had successes, real estate was still happening for you? Or were you the agent that sat back and said, I'm just going to wait until this passes. I'm going to just take a lackadaisical attitude, or I'm in fear and nothing is happening? I'm going to tell you, real estate isn't going anywhere and COVID-19 isn't going anywhere. Hello, time to wake up and lean in, move in, get busy. And today I want to prove it to you. First, we're going to be heading to Miami, Florida to find Janelle Lago, who sold real estate in record time and even found time to save a life. Hey Janelle, it's so good to see you. I am so excited to talk with you today because you have an amazing story. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you, Karen. Good to see you too.
Oh, good. Well, you had such great successes during this COVID-19 era, this pandemic. And I just wanted to dive right in and just start asking you a couple of questions so that people could see that business was still happening. So what was your reaction when you first heard about COVID-19?
Well, when I first heard about COVID-19 on the professional side, my first instinct was, oh, I think real estate might stop at this point. But once I, got with my community, the Parent Coffee community and my coaches, the first thing was keep going. We've got this. We're going to do this. People need help.
Yes.
Jump into it. You need to help. So you're going to do this. So then, I quickly shifted that and jumped right in and just kept going and looked for ways to serve my customers and my community as well.
Yeah, you really did. I mean, you really overcame any of that mindset chatter that hit so many agents out there. I mean, because we all did. We were like, oh, what does this mean? And
Yes.
So you just really tell me a little bit about your process of the mindset.
So the mindset during this time, my first thing was I have a husband and two daughters. So I said, oh, now we're all going to be together. How is this going to work? So the mindset around that was, okay, I know I have to step up and get things done, but how am I going to do this? So just working through that, getting everybody on their schedule and my own schedule so that I can keep going. I had to really wrap my mind in the positive and just not letting up at all. And the community helped.
I couldn't have said it more perfect. I mean, you're just not letting up. That's what you did. You leaned in. You just made sure that you didn't stop. You had a choice. And you made the decision, I'm not going to stop no matter what. But one of the most beautiful things that I just love about your story, and that's what I want to dive into, is how you used, because you couldn't go out, you couldn't show property, you couldn't list homes. Well, still can't really, but tell us about what you did and the result that came from it with the blood donor.
Yes, absolutely. So as we know, video was everything during this time.
Yes.
So a friend of mine actually asked me to please, she says, I know you're all over social media, help me. A friend of mine has COVID in the ICU. So I said, well, I've learned how to do these videos, so I'm just going to do this and serve. So I created this video, posted it. It was shared 75 times, over 500 views, and it was amazing. The person in my community who was in the ICU suffering with COVID in a coma I was requesting if anybody had A+ blood who had been through COVID to please donate. So they got two donors. He got blood plasma treatment, and after 35 days in the coma, he's awake.
Wow. That is amazing. So
And that was
one
the
of the
power
things you,
of sharing.
yeah, that is hugely, I mean, one of the things you did was when this happened, we all got together and we said, we have got to get on video now. We have to be there consistently. We have to be there constantly. Someone reached out, you used your influence on social media that you had, and that is what made such a difference. And now, look, and people will not forget that. I mean, that person will definitely not forget that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for all the training because everything shifted with you guys, and I'm just so grateful for that.
Well, we are grateful that you were able to implement and that's such an amazing outcome. So now a lot of agents out there, Janelle, are like, business is stopped. I can't show property. I can't do open, I can't, all this. I can't. That seems like all we hear from so many. Now, tell us a little bit about the success you just recently had this week.
Yes, absolutely. So this week I was referred a listing from someone in my sphere. A senior citizen couple lives out of town. They had a property to sell in South Florida. So I jumped over there, cleared out some of the stuff, put it on the market, and Saturday afternoon, by Monday morning, we had 12 offers. And we were under contract in 36 hours, and I received 100% asking price for my seller.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. Business did still happen. Business is still happening, and you made that happen. So that is awesome. We love that. Now, one of the things we talk about is pin-up demand, creating pin-up demand and the systems that can help that. You're in Miami, Florida. So what is your market there now? Is it quiet? Is it closed? Is it opening slowly? What's happening now?
Well, the real estate market, I feel it has not stopped at all. Now, in terms of the county opening with parks and things like that, they're slowly opening it in phases. As of this week, some parks were opening for running and cycling. Restaurants never stopped. They just pivoted and did takeout and delivery. So that's great. And in-house dining is definitely not happening.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, it's interesting. You have this perspective that business did not stop. Restaurants did not stop. Other people don't exactly see it that way. So that's a mindset and that's perspective shift. So tell me, what have you learned during this time so that you'll take forward in your business, because we know that there are things that you learned, but what are you taking with you as you move forward?
Yes, absolutely. I think I have several things, but the biggest is keep going, pivot, and lean in on community. There's other leaders, there's others that can inspire you, encourage you. Community is huge. And just those are the three things that I think are just the biggest lessons I learned during this season.
Oh, I think that's great. I just thank you so much for coming on today's show and just letting us talk to you about this and your successes, because I know it's so inspiring. So if someone had a referral for you in Miami or any of the surrounding areas, what's the best way to get hold of them? I know you have an email address, or why don't you go ahead and spell that out?
Sure, absolutely. It's my name, Janelle, GINELLE.Lago, LAGO, @remax.net.
That's awesome. So if anybody has a referral, anything like that, I want you to reach out to Janelle. Let her know that you've got somebody for her. And listen, guys, we're going to take a quick 5-second break, and we're going to come back and talk with Elizabeth Zhang, who is in Woodland, California, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, if you have just joined us, welcome back. We are talking to our clients, real estate agents from across North America, who actually leaned in during this time of the pandemic and are seeing amazing successes. We want to take what we've learned in this last 2 months and move forward aren't you ready to move forward in your business with the systems and the structures that are going to create success for you? So we want to bring to you our next agent client, who is Elizabeth Zhang out of Woodland, California. Hey, Elizabeth, it's really good to be with you today. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hi, Karen. It's great to be here. I can hear you fine.
Oh, good. Well, listen, I wanted to dive into your story today because this is, I just think people need to know, during this COVID time, business didn't stop, and it certainly didn't stop for you. And so I just had a couple of questions, and are you ready to dive in?
Let's dive in.
All right. I just love that you're here today. So we, always want to ask, what was your reaction when you first heard that COVID was happening? What was your reaction about your business? What were your thoughts?
Well, my very first reaction was that I was denial. It was denial. Like I remember hearing about it in China. Like that's where I heard about it to start, was when it was starting in China, and a relative was actually traveling. So I was paying attention to it, but
Right.
It was very much denial and telling that person, don't you bring it back, but it was still, like, okay, it's over there. It's far away. And then as it started coming here and the cases were coming here, and I felt scared. I did. I felt scared for myself, for the world. And I remember calling my mom. She's a doctor, and like, Mom, how are you reacting? How are you responding? What are you doing? She's not just a doctor. She's also 70.
Okay.
So she's still active out there in it and in that age frame.
Yeah.
And she was very practical. I'm not touching my face. I'm wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being careful. I'm taking my vitamins and staying strong. And so that was helpful. But for me, it was really helpful to reach out and say, I need to talk to somebody about this, rather than just holding it in.
Right. Did you think that, well, I'm sure you did, but what did you think about real estate at that time?
Well, I was wanting to know what was going to happen. How is this going to affect us? And I remember when they were saying that, California was one of the first to shut down. You know that.
Yeah.
We were one of the first to go into shelter in place. And I thought, okay, all right, what does this look like for me? What does this look like for my clients?
Right.
And okay, we've got to stop. We can't show houses. What do we do? And I've already done virtual videos, and I've done videos during my open houses. So I knew I could do that.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, okay, everything was just kind of like a little bit of paralysis,
Exactly. So, you definitely overcame. That is a given, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But what was it that helped you overcome?
Well, a couple of things, but signing up for this program, I signed up at the end of March, beginning of March. Beginning of March.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. So I signed up, and I think I had my first intake call, and then the first maybe session, and then we were in shelter in place. And so the whole, I got off on my modules. I got off on things, not watching them, because they were about things that we couldn't do right now.
Yeah.
Things that I'll do as soon as we're out of this. But at the moment, we couldn't do that. And what was amazing for me with this program was to be in it and to hear what's going on across the country with other agents. I show up for those calls every single week, twice a week for 2 hours, and I stay on the whole time, even if I feel like crap.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel terrible. And I remember one of the calls, I was on there and bubbly and happily, and like, oh, well, you're like sunshine. I'm like, yeah, well, when I'm talking, I am, but other times I'm on the floor. I am on the floor, and my daughter has a picture of me in my robe on the floor. And, I just have to accept that's part of life, that we have ups and downs. And then a huge part of this, I would get on and hear what everybody has to say and hear their fears and their concerns and how they're overcoming, and that it's still happening for them, that there's still deals happening, deals during lockdown. That was one of our little phrases we had.
Yeah, deals during lockdown.
And just to have, that they're really happening, that it's not, they're in the same boat I am. They're afraid. They're having the same constraints to the large extent, sometimes even more than what we've got here. And to hear that it's happening,
Yeah.
They're doing it. They've got contracts, they've got listings, they've got buyers. That it's still happening was so helpful.
Oh.
To hear the coaching, the questions that were coming in from other people was so helpful. And then the big thing for me personally is mindset. Like the mindset part to the Monday morning mindset calls that you do.
Yeah.
I listen to those. And then the mindset breakout rooms that we have with Jennifer Sparkle.
Yeah.
I just love, they're so important. They're so helpful.
Oof.
When you're in that spot of paralysis, or where you think you can't move forward, you can't take another step, or what's going to happen, what are they going to do, you're thinking too far in advance, you're overthinking it.
Right.
She has tools that she teaches that help you come out of that.
That's right. You know, during this has been such a special group, I will tell you. You know, all of us really just became so close. I believe, you know, that's exactly, well, all of you, I saw you all come so close because you had to do things differently. You were scared. And that was the most powerful call I remember when you said, yeah, my daughter has this picture of me on the floor, and this is life. And so many people were like, oh my God, she was real. You were authentic. You were putting it on the line. You were telling people exactly, yeah, this is life. And it doesn't end there. That's not the end of my story. My story continues. And so just share with the people who are watching this live today, your success. I mean, this week you actually had some amazing success that wouldn't have happened had you not leaned in during the last 2 months.
Right. Okay. So one of those successes is adjusting to having a 7-year-old at
I
home
see her in the back
all of the time. Would you like to say hi? Okay, I want you to go out then. Okay.
I love it. I love it. That's perfect.
And she's gotten used to Zoom calls enough that she knows how to stay out of the range of the camera.
Yeah, that's one of the successes. Love it.
So that's been one of the successes, and one of the challenges to start with was like, okay, so all this time that I had really mostly uninterrupted while she was at school is now gone. Yeah. And so I've had to learn how to put in the boundaries in the place and to make sure she has focused time, focused attention, because I do need to divide it, because she needs me full time at some point too. And it can't just be business. It can't just be homeschooling. So I've worked with some of the coaches on that too, with time blocking and trying to staying sane and knowing that everybody else is going through, not everybody, but everybody's going through something along these lines.
Yeah.
Some people have kids, some people have, they just have to work from home completely. Yeah. You know, there's different, we all are the same, but different. And I think I've forgotten your question.
Oh, the success, that you had, especially this. It's all good. And then what you learned that you're going to move forward with, but mainly the big success that you had this week.
Okay. All right. So keeping my mind in a good spot, that has been huge for this program, to be able to have a good mindset and accountability, to show up and say, okay, I did this. Here's what I did. And you can hear what other people are doing in their successes. Mm-hmm. And just being able and willing and knowing what to say. That's one of the letter that you had to send out, the COVID letter. I got a good response to that. I sent it out, and it felt so good to send it, because it was like I had been delaying it and procrastinating. So when I finally sent it, it was like, oh, okay. And then I got good responses to it. And then because I had sent it, I called people and said, hey, did you get my email? Did you get my letter? And it gave me that much more of a contact point and connections and caring.
That caring, that concern, that, And because of that, you actually had three
accepted contracts this week.
Yes!
Yeah. And I wrote down my stats, because one of my mindset things is where I think I don't have anything going on. I think I'm not that smart. Right. I think, why would I do that? Right. What makes me smart enough to do that? And I work on that myself, but having this group has really helped support that. And one of the things was the mind mapping, I think you might call it. She didn't call it that when she told me what to do, or an inventory. I think it's the inventory you have us do. But
Yeah.
I've got she said, I was standing there talking to one of the coaches, not standing, but, on the phone, and telling her, well, I don't think I don't know. I'm really worried. I'm scared. I don't know where the next deal is coming from.
Right.
And so I started telling her about, okay, well, I've got this person, and this deal over here. And she must have been writing it down as I went, because she's like, well, you just named off 6 different deals in one sentence that could go through.
Yeah.
I want you to sit down. My homework was to sit down and write some kind of visual chart that would show how many deals I had. So I did. I made a big poster board with Post-its that I can move across as they move.
And it was a big number. I remember that.
On the one side, it was real heavy, because I ended up realizing I had about 12 or 14 deals that were possible. And then I just recounted this morning, and I have 19 potential deals.
Yes.
So having them there on that visual is like, oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. Okay.
I can do this. And so you're going to take this. These are the things you'll take forward in your business after, because, like we said, COVID's not going anywhere. Real estate's not going anywhere. But these are all things that you kind of were forced to do.
Right.
That you'll continue with, right?
Right. I'll keep doing them. They're tools that I'll be able to take with me on into the future, into my very successful business, because it is successful and it continues to be.
It does. And you know what makes you successful, Elizabeth, is that you lean in, you show up, and that is what success takes. So guys, for any of you watching this live today, this is Elizabeth Rose Zhang, and she is out of Woodland, California. If you have any referrals, if you have anything that business that you want to send her way, there isn't a better agent in that area. How do they get a hold of you, Elizabeth Rose?
Well, they could call me or text at 530-220-4036. Or they could send me an email, liz@cashcreekrealty.com. I'll spell that for you.
Yeah, because that one's a little tough.
Liz, that part's easy. And then CACHE. So cash is CACHE, Creek, and then realty. So cashcreekrealty.com.
I love it. Well, it has been thank you so much for coming on here today and just sharing your story. And again, for any of you watching, I hope that you have been so inspired by Elizabeth Rose. We just absolutely have enjoyed watching her grow and blossom, even during COVID. How about that? What was your tagline? Deals during lockdown?
Deals during lockdown.
I love it. Hashtag deals during lockdown.
Deals during lockdown. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Right, bye. So guys, I have to ask you a question. If you've been watching this live, what's next for you? What's going through your mind right now? You have seen 2 agents that have had incredible successes, and there are many, many more where they came from. But what's next for you? Are you going to be struggling? Do you know what systems to implement? Do you know where you're headed? Do you know how to get there? My team at Making Agents Wealthy, we work with agents all over North America every single day. And we work with them to really map out a plan, a game plan that is working in COVID, after COVID, before COVID. It doesn't matter. What matters is, where will your success come from? If you want to join me over at KarenCoffey.com/Making Agents Wealthy, there will be a presentation there that will give you even more information on how to be successful at this time. I can't wait to see you guys over there. You deserve it. You deserve to move forward powerfully and build the business of your dreams.